This is an example of how to solve percent problems. Usually students find this much harder than when we did percent of a number. Because percent of a number is really easy to pick out, percent times a number. But in this case, we don't know our number. The question is, 30 is 50% of what number? There are two main strategies I like to use, and I teach them both in class. So the first one we have the students take notes on is setting up a proportion where there's two equal ratios. This should be familiar to them since we did it in the last unit. The proportions always said like this: is of percent 100. So that way, all we have to figure out are the missing pieces. So when I look at that problem and I rewrite it, 100 always is going to stay there. If I know the percent, I'm going to put it on top. I do know the percent, 50%. Now we figure out where 30 goes. It says 30 is, so 30 goes on is. And we don't know the of. So for now, you can leave it blank. You can also just use a variable, which we go over later in class. So you could leave it blank, that's fine. And we solve like we've solved before. So 30 is 50% of what number? You could do a common factor of 30 and 50, like we've done in class. So to get there, we would have to do divide by 5 times 3 if I want to work backwards. So divide by 5 is 20, and 20 times 3 is 60. Another way students solve like that, calculation-wise, is by cross-multiplying. So they would do 100 times 30, so using the 2 cross, and that would be 3,000. And then you take 3,000 and divide it by your leftover number, 50, to get 60. Either way, you get 60 as your answer. So 30 is 50% of 60. Another way you can do it is algebraically, and that's when you would want to use the variable. And it's for kids who really think algebraically. So you set up as a number sentence. The word is and of are key. Is means equal, and of, like we talked about earlier, is multiplication. And then you set up the numbers around them. So 30 comes before is, 30 would come before the equal sign. 50% comes before of, so I'm going to put 50% of what number? That's our missing piece, that's our variable. So I'll use n. And from there, we divide by 50% or 0.5. And when you divide 30 by 0.5, it cancels out over here to get 1. And you get that missing number is equal to 60. This way is a little more confusing for people unless they've had some experience in algebra, which a few of our kids have.